What up, dude?
I'm scared.
Why are you scared, bro?
Because anytime I make tier lists, people yell at me because I put their favorite thing in a low tier.
Hey guys, Above here, and welcome to the 2024 PVE Subclass Tier List Post-Final Shape Edition. I think it's going to be a really interesting discussion today, and if you guys don't get enough out of this specific video, I'll have our full 2-hour Twitch VOD linked down in the description below for your viewing pleasure. If you guys enjoyed today's video, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated, and without further ado, let's get into it. Obviously, Salt, you know, 4 times world's first raider, very focused on like day 1 builds and things like that, and like day 1 viability, solo stuff. Mac, not to say you're not an endgame, like you're very endgame focused as well, but
I'm trying to remember how many world's first belts I have. It's tough to keep track of them sometimes.
between the three of us, we have 4. Yeah. We have 4 belts between us, so it's like, you know,
that is true.
We're kind of
good. Big.
The title could be 4 world's first belts rank PVE subclasses. To start, I'd be curious what you two think. Do you guys feel like there's any non-prismatic subclass that undeniably goes in S+?
If you talk day ones, I think Solar Hunter is better than Prismatic Hunter because of Illuminate.
And I totally agree with you. For survivability purposes, like when you're looking at boss DPS, Solar Hunter is going to do the same thing that Prismatic Hunter does for raid boss DPS, right? Because Celestial Nighthawk, Golden Gun, that's the key piece there. You can use Still Hunt on either of them. But when you look at your survivability options, like Solar is going to clear Prismatic all day because of that healing grenade and that healing grenade alone. I'm down to put Solar Hunter in S+. If you guys are, I totally agree with that.
I think that's totally fair.
What goes into S++ though?
If we feel like we need to do that later on, we can. I'll put Solar Hunter at S+ for now. I agree with you though, like, because you're basically just sacrificing a little bit of damage for just significantly better survivability. There's just so many benefits to Solar because the fragments are so strong.
The trio of like Torches, Empyrean, and Benevolence.
So would you guys, I mean, same exact argument goes to Well then, essentially. What are your guys' thoughts on Well before I do place it? How are you feeling about the nerf overall?
I'm letting Salt take this one first.
That's fine.
The Well of Radiance guy.
I feel like it's been hard meta in GMs for years where it shouldn't have been because you simply shouldn't have been able to like face tank GM enemies. And now it requires way smarter placements, but it shifted into a way more offensive playstyle, which I still think has its place. The new like aspect, I don't remember the name, it's also very good. Like it's just good.
Oh, Helion, you mean? Or however,
yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Helion, Helion. Yeah, I don't know.
Helion. I've been calling it Solar Dude.
Solar Boy. Solar Lad.
It's a good subclass, so I think it's fair to put this on S+ too.
Yeah, I'm fine with putting Well of Radiance in S+ as well.
You also have Song of Flame on this subclass with Resto ×2, like on top of it. Pretty
Should
insane.
we use the Song of Flame talk to segue into Prismatic Warlock? My knee-jerk reaction is, yes, the 90% DR basically makes you invincible, but I think it's a stark contrast with old Well of Radiance, where Song of Flame makes one person invincible. Yeah. Whereas Well made everyone invincible.
I feel like you can kind of play with that same reckless mentality, and it lasts a very long time too.
I also think Prismatic, the Transcendence on Warlock is also extremely strong. I feel like Prismatic Warlock is top of the charts, right? You have so many options too, right? Especially in this season with Expanding Abyss. You've got the Nova Bomb angle, you've got the Song of Flame angle, Devour Solar Dude angle, you've got the Devour Bleak Watcher angle. I think the Facet of Solitude, where you sever enemies when you rapidly land precision hits on them, is so good.
That's the strongest fragment in the game, like by far.
Yeah, okay, so we do agree. Yeah, because like I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough. For me, Prismatic Warlock is S+ tier. It's got so much going for it.
I mean,
I don't know.
To me, it's a no-brainer, in my opinion. I'm so glad
we just put everything else in S+ and call it a day.
Yeah, I think every class S+, and yeah, GG.
I mean, every subclass that deals damage, every subclass kills enemies. Like that's S+ as far as I'm concerned.
Here's an interesting one. I'll change pace a little bit. With all the changes to stasis that they did with like Frost Armor, increasing the damage of various supers, shatter damage, etc., has that moved the needle on stasis at all for you guys?
I mean, the thing is, you just play Prismatic. Like, yeah, it's made stasis better, but you probably still don't play stasis.
So there's no reason to ever play the stasis subclasses when you can just use the good parts of the stasis subclasses on Prismatic, and then use the Prismatic aspects and fragments and alternate grenades and melee abilities that are significantly better than the options that you have on stasis.
Yep.
Like, for example, if you look at Stasis Hunter, the arguments are, okay, Silence and Squall is a good super now because it got buffed, and then you also have, like, the Renewal Grasp's Dustfield Grenade angle. But you can run both of those things on Prismatic Hunter, and then you have better melee options, better aspect options, better fragment options, and you have Prismatic, or Transcendence, rather.
So where would you
I mean, I put it on B because you can Shatter Skate.
You know what? That's fair. Actually, you know what? That's fair. I was gonna put it in C for Shatter Skating alone. It goes up to B.
That's so cool. And I love Shatter Skating. I do. We're raising it a whole tier because it can Shatter Skate.
On a real note, yeah.
One of my favorite things to talk about, like when you're talking about like deciding a build or something, is opportunity cost. Because people will, when you say a subclass is not particularly good or a build's not great, people will always say, well, what do you mean? It can do all these things. And like when you're evaluating a subclass, you're not necessarily looking exclusively at all of the things that it does. You're looking at what it does and how those things stack up to the other options that you could put into those same exact slots, right? So it's like you said, yeah, Stasis Hunter does a lot of cool stuff. Without a doubt, there's some stasis fragments that are good that you don't have access to on Prismatic, but you have to have that conversation in the context of, are those things good or better than the things that Prismatic Hunter does?
Let's go with Banner of War Titan.
I mean, this one is weird because rating-wise, like, day one, you're not gonna use it, but for many other things, it's still very good. It's tough to place it because it's still the best at certain niche things. Like if you need to DPS a boss solo in like some weird challenge, it's probably the highest DPS in the game, right? I mean, probably at least S. I don't know if I'd put it on S+, just because of like versatility. I don't know.
I kind of flow. I definitely don't think it's S+ either. I kind of hover between S and A. I'd lean a little bit more towards S personally.
Kind of where I'm at.
I think A is like a bit too low. Like it's still broken. It's just like
a
bit less versatile.
Yeah, A is too low in my opinion.
Yeah, I think S
like
is fair. Yeah, I would agree.
I'd love to, like, looking at Solar, I'm very curious because this is a class that I don't play very much, and obviously, Salt, I know you're big on Titan.
Yeah.
Where's Solar Titan at, in your opinion?
I mean, it's the best Titan class by far, I think, for like day ones and stuff.
See,
like, you're not gonna catch me playing
the 4-time world's first raider here.
I'm not disagreeing with him.
Titan.
I'm just like,
no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
It.
I don't have as much experience on Soul. Like I've played it, and to be honest, to me, like where I'm coming from with this, as someone who doesn't play it as often, is the hammer change feels extremely clunky, and like kind of since then I haven't really played it as much.
Yeah.
Because before it was broken as hell, and now I'm like, okay, like to me, I feel like I can achieve better on Prismatic Titan, to be honest, with like the infinite consecration stuff, with how much DR you get. But I'd be interested to see your arguments for it.
So first of all, it got like an ungodly amount of buffs when they fixed restoration, because now sunspots extend restoration. So it's legit impossible to not have permanent
previously it would reset it to like 2 seconds, right? So
no,
you had to, like,
it didn't do that.
Avoid sunspots?
No, it just said on your left like Sol Invictus, and that thing healed you, but that wasn't a restoration, like it was a different thing.
So now it's tied into actual restoration itself.
Yeah.
I see.
I thought there was something weird that like reset your rest. Oh no, that was
the fragment
fire
thingy.
sprite pickup. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, you hit something with the mini hammer, it cures you. You make a sunspot. Everything else that's close to it just dies because there is a sunspot. Yep. You get the resto, and you have one of the best supers in the game, which is like hammers. And if you want to do DPS, you also have barriers, which I don't like, but it's good. Like you miss a consecration on like Prismatic because it whiffs because there is a set of stairs and you're just dead. Like on Solar Titan, like what's gonna happen? You throw your mini hammer, you can pick it back up. You miss your mini hammer, you have an healing nade. You miss your healing nade, you press your super, you can go take a coffee and you're not gonna die even if you get shot by like 18 Hydras.
Would you place it above or below Berserker Titan?
I'd say above.
Okay. I will defer to you on that because you have much more experience.
Likewise.
Yeah,
I'm not a
play.
I'd be lying if I told you I've equipped Solar Titan since the final shape patch. Can I relentlessly defend Void Hunter?
Sure.
I do think it's S. I think it's so strong. But I've
too.
always been an Omnioculus fanboy. But I genuinely do believe in the strength of it. especially with Echo of Starvation.
Yep.
I think Invis is so strong. It was insane in Onslaught as well.
Dude, just empowering your teammates alone with orbs,
Yeah.
like getting more Song of Flames or getting more, you know, just like anything like that, getting more, you know, supers with your Titan to be able to pop more consecrations and just go like it just feeds everything. So yeah, I agree.
I think it's so good. Like I like it in S. I don't know if you guys agree, but
Like, you don't have to convince me. Like, it's S for sure, but even in day one raids,
Like, I'm honestly, I know the S plus tier is like it would be getting full. I would say it's either the very top of S or bottom of S plus. I'm like in between
I can agree.
those two. And I don't know I don't want S plus to be like
too much.
oversaturated, because then it kind of devalues what S plus brings. But I also do think there's an argument for it to be made that it is. So I don't know.
I'm not a big tattoo guy, because I'm like deathly scared of needles. But like if I was a tattoo guy, like it'd be something Void Hunter related.
You'd be getting those eyeballs from Omni on
I
your
love it, dude. They're like my chest, my bare chest would have Omni Oculus eyeballs on it, 100%.
This is a subclass that was like insanely strong before. It was probably the worst subclass in the game. I want to see if you guys can guess this. Worst subclass in the game, in my opinion, for years. Received a couple buffs on behalf of Ionic Traces being really good and Elemental Wells going away.
I mean, it's probably Arc Warlock, but
Arc
It is
Warlock?
Arc Warlock. I'm very
when
curious
you
to see
said
where this
worst in
falls.
the game, I already knew.
Yeah, me too. Nowadays, I don't know. It's like you get the amount of ability regeneration you get for free, plus the amount of Ionic Trace generation you have with Electrostatic Mind, where you generate an Ionic Trace on literally any ability kill, plus any jolted enemy kill. Like you're throwing abilities more than you're shooting your weapons, even still to this day.
Pulse nades are also one of the best grenades in the game, period, after they're buffed.
My TLDR will be either top B or low A. Like, it's good, but it's not.
I think so too.
Right.
During its peak, I would have probably had it in S, but I definitely don't think it's S anymore. I think it'd be like either, like you said, low A or high B.
I like low A for it at the moment.
This is one that I think is going to be very controversial, because I think there's niches where it's insane, and it's always been consistent. Where would you guys put Void Titan?
I was gonna put it in C.
You can still play the same good old like oil build. Like, it's not bad. It's just worse because they nerfed the armor mods. Okay, so like Bubble is borderline useless. I agree.
Right.
But the aspect that makes volatile is very, very good.
I like it in B. I don't like. For me, I can't really justify putting it above B.
I think it's in B. I think special shout out for where this is shining right now is any GM with overloads with Peregrine is absolutely absurdly powerful. It is so good. Like, you can just one-shot champions, one-tap champs. It's a lot of fun to run. Are you comfortable with that?
I
Saul?
have bought that and Arc Warlock in B at the moment. So
Okay. I could be convinced to bring Arc Warlock down, honestly. But I'm leaving it in A at the moment. Here's one that's interesting. How would you rate Strand Warlock?
I don't think it's very different from Arc Warlock.
I don't think it's that good. I think people soil their genes way too much over the apotheosis build for it. Like, it's just not that good.
Like the Billy rotations you see, like melee rocket, melee that other thing, like that's us. Like, that's not good. Completely unpractical. But I do think it has a place with the new like linear,
But like,
it's probably B. Like, I don't think it's C.
Yeah, I have people telling me it's like S tier, and I'm like, no.
I have multiple people in my chat as well, dude. They're all like, there's multiple people that are like Strand Warlock's S tier, and I get that in my comments all the time. They're like, you're throwing on Warlock if you're not using this for damage. I'm like, I
don't know where these narratives are coming from that it's like top tier damage.
Well,
I mean, just the damage testing videos where they hit like a perfect rotation, which is just not gonna happen ever in the game.
I think it's A at best. Like, I'd put it above Arc Warlock. But like I think there's like for me there's no world where it's S. Something I always say is like, listen, if these things are legitimately as good as people are making them out to be, then why are people why do we never see them in day one raids? Why do we never see them in world's first clears? Like why do we never ever see the top players in the game running them?
So would you put it above or below Arc Warlock for you two?
If we're not putting so much weight on artifact mods, I put it above. Mm-hmm.
Ugh, I don't know. It's like
It's tough.
they're like neck and neck. I can't really decide. I'm
you can
opting
flip a
out.
coin.
Yeah, I'm opting out of the choice, dude. Okay.
What about Stasis Warlock?
I think it is immediately C tier because of the opportunity cost from Prismatic Warlock. It
I
offers
agree.
nothing anymore.
Because Stasis Warlock is Bleak Watcher. You have that on Prismatic.
Are certain subclasses dead because of Prismatic? This is like prime example A of like, I know there will be some Timmy in the comments that'll be like, okay, yeah, this is still my favorite thing. But like, this does not get used anymore because Prismatic Warlock exists. And if you're using it, like, you haven't tried Prismatic Warlock because it's just a better version of the same thing. I have a really interesting one. Where would you put Arc Titan at the moment?
I think
You would have to convince me to put it low B, so probably C.
Yeah.
I think Thunder Crush is awful. I think it's been for a
terrible.
while, but like you're forced to use an exotic for the super to be mid. Back then, like when Vow came out, it hit harder than a Nighthawk. I'm pretty sure a Nighthawk hits way harder than a Thunder Crush now, without the 18 downsides that Thunder Crush has.
That's fair. I mean, I guess just for the one niche that it does have, I would put it higher than the other, like the other C tier. So it'd be top of
That's
C.
fair.
I
think it would be low B, but I don't know.
I don't think it's better than Stasis Hunter. We're having a mid off. That's what's
It
going
is a
on.
mid off. I'm putting it top C. I'm gonna leave it top C.
Generational mid off.
Dude, it's crazy how far it's fallen because in previous
I know,
tier
it's
lists,
so depressing.
it was like low S at minimum. Like it was like one of the go-to burst supers everywhere, and you would just use it constantly. And that was when like Hoyle was at its peak, and GMs would just get absolutely run over by Arc Titan. That was the hard meta. No one uses Arc Titan anymore in GMs.
I want to look at Arc Hunter. I feel like a lot of people are gonna immediately yell Gifted Conviction, 50% DR, Ascension, Jolt Spam, whatever. Number one best thing about Arc Hunter is the combination blow loop. And you have a literal better version of that in every way, shape, or form with Prismatic, because you go invisible on all of them without having to use an exotic armor piece, which means you can dedicate your exotic armor piece to something that makes ignitions on every single one.
Yep.
That doesn't rob you of your DPS buff with the Lyre or Syntho.
I think Arc Hunter could go to A.
Really?
Because it's still better than like an Arc Warlock and a Bubble or like all those things, like easily. Like the subclass is still usable, I think. You have a good super at least.
Gathering Storm is still good for sure.
Gathering
That's,
is
the
very
saving
strong.
grace of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I think overall it brings more value than like a Void Titan would, to be honest.
For sure.
I just think, dude, Prismatic Hunter just power crept so many of its own subclasses, like worse than some of the other ones did. It's just
For sure.
Should we rate Prismatic Hunter? Is it?
I'm down for that.
Is it the best in the game? Because I know,
Overall,
and I do
probably.
agree with you, Saul. You do not put Prismatic Hunter over Solar Hunter if you're looking at a day one raid angle. But it's definitely better than Solar Hunter if you're looking at a GM angle. Pretty much
I mean,
any non-day one raid angle, I feel like Prismatic Hunter is better because like on level raid, you don't need the healing grenade. You're not dying.
overall, I think Prismatic Hunter is the best class in the game.
Yeah,
It is way more versatile than Solar is. Like you can't
I agree.
you can't solo GM on Solar Hunter punching everything that doesn't do anything, right? Like
Very true.
they're not that far off in a day one, and Prismatic does do more damage because of courage, and we said that we have the broken like searing fragment, so everything does less damage. Like you just have so many things going for you.
So yeah, I think overall it probably is number one. And
yeah,
I think,
I have Hunter over Warlock in mind.
do you guys still think normal Goldie and Well are both still S plus tier? Or do they need to drop down?
I have Prismatic Warlock as S plus, but like the lowest one. I have Well, Goldie, and Prismatic Hunter above it.
I have Prismatic Hunter, Prismatic Warlock, Solar Hunter, Solar Warlock.
It's
in S
the
plus,
same
in that order.
That's the
Yeah.
same. It's weird though, because like Usually
don't know,
S
though.
plus
I
should be
think-
reserved for such a small portion, but they really are
Yeah,
all
but,
that
like,
good though.
I'm
That's
gonna
just
ask
me.
that we finish with Prismatic Titan, by the way.
Okay, that
Because-
works for me.
I want to end on a good note, and I don't think the other 3 options are gonna be that.
I agree. What would
Should
you
we
go?
knock those out?
Yeah, let's do Behemoth.
I have literally always, for the entirety of its existence, felt like Behemoth is bottom tier. I just don't.
Probably same.
I don't get like why you're ever even considering Stasis Titan over Strand Titan, Solar Titan. It's
And
just,
now
it's
Prismatic Titan by far.
like the class has always felt. I don't want to say it's felt like it's had an identity crisis, but it's felt like it's kind of like felt like it's had the opposite of it. It's had like it's been hard stuck on this identity of being this like weird, memey, sliding through walls thing.
Have actually reflected back on like the tier list we did 2 years ago. I can't remember the name of the mod, but it was when Elemental Wells when
Font of Might.
Font of Might, dude. You were like, Behemoth is minimum S tier because of Font of Might. How
It
it's
was.
fallen. The meta has changed so much, dude. It's crazy.
Like the C tier is all the same for me.
For this class, I just don't have like a situation where I'd be like, you know, today I'm gonna run Behemoth.
Yeah,
Titan."
Stasis. Oh,
Like,
Yeah,
you
no, I mean-
know?
dude, you know what would be nuts for this activity? If we pulled up on Stasis Titans.
What do we think about Strand Hunter?
The other reason you would run it is because of the super. You can run it on Prismatic, so.
I mean, I know whirling maelstroms are like super funny.
People love that, to be fair, and it is a
I know.
fun thing to run.
No, they're hilarious. It's not very good. It's not our C tier.
You think it's another C?
Yeah.
Okay.
Void Warlock.
Damn, dude, they're just moving on. I
You
think
feed
it's.
the void
I
and
think.
you have-
I think Strand Hunter's probably low B for me. I think it's better than the other options in the C tier. Dude, everybody in chat's like, I think it's A or like high B or whatever, and I'm just like,
like,
But it's
like
like-
just because whirling maelstrom, you think it's B?
yeah, I think so. It's
can get
pretty
behind
fun.
that.
I think it's.
I-
I
Okay,
think
but-
it's B.
I don't think it's
Ask
as
yourself
bad
this.
as Stasis Titan or Stasis Warlock.
No, I agree. I agree. But would you run a Strand Hunter over a Thunder Crush in a day one? I don't know. They're both ass. Like, I wouldn't run either. Like,
I
a
wouldn't
day
run either
one,
in a
no,
day
but,
one,
like,
but I would run it
I'm
in a
not
lot
just
more
thinking about day
places.
ones.
I'd run it in a lot
No,
more
that's fair.
areas than that. Void Warlock.
I don't know. Everything that makes Void Warlock special is on Prismatic Warlock.
Exactly. Is there any benefit to the base
trying
Warlock
to think.
subclass that Prismatic doesn't provide?
It's like the melee is garbage. Yeah, you still got the weakened grenades.
Still have Nova
you have
Bomb.
the Nova Bomb. You have the good Nova Bomb.
You still have the best grenade as well. You still
Yep.
have Vortex.
Yep.
That's tough, dude. You still have Devour. Like you have.
Yeah. It's tough because like from an opportunity cost perspective, which is what we put Stasis Hunter in C for, like Void Warlock should also be in C. But where I struggle is I don't think Void Warlock is as bad as Stasis Hunter. So that's like the only reason I'm inclined to put it like low B. Because
Yeah,
even though it doesn't do anything that can't be done on Prismatic Warlock, it is better than the things that are in C tier.
I agree.
Which is where I'm struggling.
Well, especially now
it's
that Nova
like-
Bomb's been buffed too, because Nova was an absolute joke of a super
Yeah.
as well, but now it's actually not bad.
like, you're never running it. But if Prismatic didn't exist, like, it's still better than Strand Warlock. Like, it's still the second best Warlock subclass, I think.
Right. Yeah, to clarify, I'm not saying that like I'm contemplating putting it in C because I think it's bad. Because like a big rationale that we've had for placing a lot of these is like the availability of their strong components on Prismatic, kind of
You-
rendering them useless.
You do have to factor that majorly, in my opinion. I
Right.
think it'd be
So
a
it's like-
disservice to the list if you didn't.
It's tough because, like, yes, I do believe it's better than Arc Warlock. I believe it's better than Void Titan. But at the same time, Void Titan and Arc Hunter do things that can't be done on other subclasses, and Void Warlock cannot say the same thing. I mean, you can make the argument Persistence gives you longer Devour. You can make the argument that it has Child, which Prismatic does not have.
There's so many benefits you lose by not being on Prismatic that it's like
I know.
you're just kind of tossing if you're not using. I don't know.
I don't know.
All the best aspects of Void Warlock that you're realistically using are on Prismatic Warlock.
I'm
And
just sick of
that's
having
just how it
mid-offs.
is. Yeah. Like, it's still a really good subclass, but that, I think the ranking of it being low B for me is strictly off of opportunity cost and something else existing that you can gain those exact same benefits somewhere else.
And I feel like this is relevant to like this point of the tier list because I'm having someone saying that like we should be tiering these within a vacuum, not based on their comparison to Prismatic, but like the reality of the situation is like that's not how we make decisions on what subclasses to run when we play Destiny.
Agree.
I struggle to put something that's better than something else below just because Prismatic kind of clones it. Like
right. That is.
I tend to make my tier list in a way where if something is better, it's above. If that makes sense, right? Like even if, yes, you wouldn't run it over Prismatic, but like I get the point, but I don't know.
That's why.
It's
That's
really
why.
tough.
That's why I put Void Warlock in B, because it's yes, you would literally never run it because Prismatic exists, but like I'm not gonna stick it below subclasses that are like objectively worse than it just because Prismatic renders it useless.
Prismatic Titan, the final one. I am a Prismatic Titan enjoyer. The survivability is crazy, the ad clear is crazy, the champ control is crazy. So like in a GM setting, it's very, very good. If you're using it in ad clear encounters for raids, it's very good. I think you have some really strong exotic class items with it, with like Eternal Warrior and Star Eater is like an insanely good combo with the new the Void Axes. In its niche, it's so strong.
Yeah. I don't dock it for like lacking variety. It's like, yeah, the only angle realistically is Twilight Arsenal, Consecration, Frenzied Blade, Knockout, but it's like that works in pretty much every single setting. It's S minimum for me. I don't do you think it's S plus above?
I'd probably put it in the middle. I think it's better than Strand.
Okay.
But below Solar. But again, it's tough because that doesn't apply to GMs, right?
Right.
But again, if you're telling me like, oh, there is this new dungeon, you don't really know what's coming. You don't know like what to expect. What class will you go in with? And the answer is just Solar because it doesn't matter what I'm gonna face. It's gonna just work.
I'm probably going Prismatic Titan over Solar Titan in a lot of pieces of content personally.
Same. And I've played it a lot recently. Like genuinely, it's been my main. I'm a hunter main, and I have been having like a stupid amount of fun with that build in GMs.
I do understand and agree with the argument of like Solar Titan being better for like staying alive.
I think I agree with that.
And I'm wondering to what degree I'm leaning towards putting it over Solar Titan, but like I haven't been playing Solar Titan.
I don't know. I feel like it's inconsistent. I played it quite a bit, but it's not.
To what degree?
So like cooldowns, like it's over. If
to
for some reason
is your rating based on its reliability and going in blind to an activity, though?
I feel like when you consider how strong something is, you have to put it against something that you're sort of say struggling to clear, and so you're like, oh, which subclass should I use? It doesn't have to be like the hardest thing in the game, but even me for an average player being like, oh, I'm struggling to clear this like Eero Nightfall, what should I use? And I don't think the answer is flying with like a Prismatic Titan, because I feel like it's generally like hard and you can easily mess up.
They excel at slightly different things,
They
but are
definitely
both
do.
overall very like because I think we could go in circles for the entire day.
No, it's fine.
Between Prismatic Titan and Solar Titan. As something weird happened in my tier list. Somehow Void Hunter went up to S+. I don't know.
So weird, and it's above everything else too. That's actually wild.
So weird. My tier list bugged. Oh well, I guess we'll leave it like that.
Oh man. Thank you guys for joining, bro. Seriously, it's good to chat with you guys. I appreciate you coming on. All right, man. Have a good rest of your night, okay?
You guys take care. That was
Later,
fun.
Mac.
See you.
Take it easy.
See ya.